Hello, and welcome to the fourth and final segment of the Center for Nonprofit Excellence series on starting a nonprofit organization. My name is Ed Cordes, and I direct the consulting services here at CNPE. There is a lot to do to obtain nonprofit status for your organization. There's even more to do once you have obtained that status and are ready to get down to work, not only in providing services to the community you serve, but ensuring the organization is running smoothly and efficiently and is financially sustainable. Fortunately, you are not on your own. You will share this work with a collection of talented individuals who are as passionate about your vision and your work as you are. Your board of directors. Building that board is the topic of this segment. As we noted in the first segment of this series, the community has entrusted to the nonprofit sector its resources in the form of tax dollars, tax breaks, donations, to provide services within the community that neither the for-profit nor the government sectors can or will provide. But who will ensure that those resources are used according to the community's wishes? That is the role and responsibility of the board of directors. A nonprofit organization proposes to the community a collection of programs and activities that are of value to that community. That collection comprises the nonprofit's mission. The community supports this mission with its resources, the donations and tax breaks and the like. And the board of directors stands between the community and the staff and structure of the nonprofit to ensure that those resources are used for the stated mission of the organization. Even as the board members share their time, talent, and treasure to ensure the sustainability of the nonprofit. And so the board of directors is the closest thing to an owner that a nonprofit has. It, and not you, and this is an important point, the board, and not you, its founder, is ultimately responsible for the nonprofit. And so you must be willing to relinquish control and ultimate responsibility for your nonprofit to the board. In order to carry out this responsibility, the members of a board of directors are bound to three duties. The duty of care, by which board members are enjoined to use their common sense as they diligently and attentively tend to the organization's needs and governance, and as they make sound and informed decisions. The duty of loyalty, by which board members are enjoined to put the interests of the organization above their own interests. And the duty of obedience, by which board members are enjoined to ensure that the organization not only complies with statutes, regulations, and the like, but also that the organization is obedient to its own mission, that it doesn't use the community's resources to do anything outside of that mission. The board itself is governed by a set of officers, typically a chair, who sets the agenda for the board, presides over its meetings, and serves as a point of contact for the executive director of the organization on behalf of the board. A vice chair, who stands in for the chair when they cannot perform their duties. A secretary, who ensures the safety and accuracy of all the board's records, especially the board's meeting minutes. And the treasurer, who oversees the financial management of the organization and helps the board fulfill its financial responsibilities. The actual work of the board is done by its committees. Committees can be formed by the board at any time for whatever tasks the board may need, except those things that only the board is permitted to do, like dissolve the organization itself. Typically, they can have any number of members and do not have to be composed solely of board members. In fact, inviting a non-board member to serve on a committee is a great way to infuse additional talent into the board and the organization itself. It's also a great way to get to know an individual and assess whether they would make a good board member. Typical committees include An executive committee composed of the officers who assist the chair in managing the board and who, under some circumstances, can act on behalf of the board. A finance committee that oversees the organization's financial management. A development or fundraising committee that not only oversees the organization's fundraising efforts, but assists the board itself with its fundraising responsibilities. And a governance committee that oversees the recruitment, orientation, and performance of individual board members, as well as helps the board in its own self-assessment of its performance. So who should be on your board of directors? Well, certainly you want on your board a diverse set of skills and experience. Nonprofit experience isn't necessary, but it is helpful, as is a member or two who have experience running a business. Board members with legal or human resource experience can be invaluable. And certainly individuals familiar with the issues you are addressing and the community you serve are needed. A range of genders, ages, race and ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds brings a diversity of personal experience that will enrich board discussions and lead to better decision making. One of the board members' most important roles is that of an ambassador, spreading the word about the organizations, its vision for the future, and the great work it is carrying out toward achieving that vision. So you will also want board members who belong to social and professional networks and who have personal and professional connections that will assist the organization in garnering support. But foremost among all of these is passion. Board service, when done well, can be a bit of a slog, especially during those inevitable times of struggle. You will want individuals who will hang with you through those tough times, as well as the good. So as you build your board, look for individuals who share your vision, who believe in your mission, who just get deep down in their soul what the organization is trying to accomplish, and who are deeply passionate about making that happen. You can get by without a lawyer on your board or someone who has a connection to a wealthy foundation. But there is no getting by without board members who are passionate for the mission. As you recruit members for the board, it is essential that you let them know exactly what they're getting into. Otherwise, you run a great risk of misunderstanding and discord down the road. How many meetings will they be expected to attend? Will they be required to participate on a committee? What does that commitment look like? How will they be asked to personally support the organization? How will they be required to assist in the fundraising? In addition to board and committee meetings, will they be required to attend organizational events? Are they expected to share their professional expertise as a board member? Decide exactly what you will require of your board members and then communicate that candidly and completely as you ask them to serve on your board. Perhaps the most critical aspect of building a board of directors, however, is ensuring the board is rooted in diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are all familiar with the reasons it behooves us to build a diverse board rooted in equity and inclusion. Diversity breeds creativity and innovation. It shields against nearsightedness and groupthink. A diverse organization garners a more diverse group of supporters. The US is becoming more diverse. If we don't become more diverse too, we are missing out on a growing pool of talent. Diversity grounds our work, helps us ensure our relevance and effectiveness. All of these are familiar arguments, and they are all true. But they comprise what could be called the business case for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It makes good sense from a business perspective. But there is another reason for rooting the board, indeed our entire organization, in diversity, equity, and inclusion. To do so, is a matter of justice. As Rick Moyers, former foundation executive and now consultant, points out, being a board member is a form of civic engagement that provides an opportunity for individuals to have tremendous say in how resources are used in our communities. It is as much an honor and a privilege as it is a responsibility. But access to this privilege has long been denied to certain individuals due to discrimination and bias. Individuals who are well qualified to serve the community in this capacity, but who are not part of the social networks and systems of power influence from which we tend to draw our board members. And that simply is unfair and unjust. And this should matter to us in the nonprofit sector, because so much of our work, whatever it is ultimately aimed at making the world a place free of obstacles and barriers, a place where everyone flourishes. Rooting our board and our organizations in diversity, equity, and inclusion, well, that's hard work. And the temptation is to make a few statements, draft a few policies, bring onto our board a few people of color or an individual with a disability or a member of the LGBTQ plus community. But the real work cannot simply be reduced to figuring out how to, say, get a person of color on the board. The real work consists of becoming the sort of organization that people of color value, want to be a part of. And that requires some deep questioning and soul searching, both as a board and as an organization. Are we clear about what we mean by diversity, equity, and inclusion? Can we articulate why it is important to us? Can we have the difficult conversations around prejudice and privilege? And can we commit to rooting these out? What will be different about our board and how it operates? And how will we know if we are making real progress? And finally, are we willing to enlist the help of others to assist us in this work? And so there is a lot to the process of building the board of directors for your new nonprofit. It will take some time. And of course, you will make mistakes along the way. There will be fits and starts and a fair number of frustrations alongside all the successes. After all, in the end, you're dealing with a collection of human beings. But get that right mix of human beings in your boardroom, folks with all sorts of backgrounds and experiences and professions, folks who bring a range of expertise, opinions, and wisdom, passionate folks inspired by your vision and committed to making it a reality. Get that mix of folks to accompany you on this journey. Well, now you've got something. In fact, years from now, when you look back on those early weeks and months as you labored to get your new nonprofit off the ground, you will come to a realization. Assembling that talented and passionate band of companions for the journey was the one thing that ultimately guaranteed your success. This is the final segment of our 4-part series on starting up a nonprofit organization. We hope you found it helpful. Check out our website for additional resources. And so, good luck to you. Know that we wish you every success as you work to make our community a better place, one where everyone belongs and everyone flourishes.